I'm so glad to have you guys here. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle puts in all the hard work behind the scenes to make sure that these CE classes are available for all the agents who take them. So she is like a silent warrior in the background. So I always just want to like give her a shout out. She organizes so much CE all over the state. So thank you, Michelle. You're the best. So like Michelle said, this is a CE class with the Department of Licensing. You'll receive 2 CE credits. For those of you that are live, we are recording the class. And just a disclaimer for anyone who watches the recording in the future, you cannot get CE credit by watching the recording. If any of you want a copy of the recording after the class that are live here, I'm happy to provide that to you. So um, great. Welcome. So many of you have introduced yourself in the chat. I just want to give a shout out to Ethan, who is in real estate school right now and thought that this would be a great class to get under his belt right away. And 2 thumbs up. We agree. That is awesome. I hope that you get a lot of good takeaways today. Okay, quick intro about me. My name's Kristin Cole. I'm the operations manager at Silver Creek Realty. I have been in the real estate industry since 2006 in one capacity or another. I've sold real estate. I'm actively licensed now, but I don't actively sell real estate with my current role. But I've been a TC, I've been an assistant, sold real estate, all kinds of things. So um, I also have a secondary set of experience. And from 2009 to 2020, my husband and I ran an event company in the Boise area together full time. And I was doing this and that real estate kind of, here and there in between all of that. But I kind of blend my experience in the real estate industry and my experience in starting and operating my own company to build the content for this class. So I'll kind of reference a lot of different experiences and things during the class. Now, it's a Zoom class, right? Which means that it's tempting to just kind of sit back and listen. This class is pretty interactive. If you have not had a chance to print the workbook, if you've got a printer handy, I would definitely recommend printing that. Michelle had sent out the workbook yesterday, and that's good to go. I made a couple of changes today. This is like a living, breathing document that I always, shifting and changing and making it better. So very last minute, I was like, Michelle, can you send this copy out? So you may have that email. If you printed the previous one, that's fine. There's not enough changes to warrant reprinting the whole thing, but you'll have a copy of it for future reference. If you do not have a printer nearby, if you've got some paper, that will do the trick. So I definitely think that you can get the most out of this class by really participating. And we're going to be having a lot of like pause moments where I'm giving you a minute to write things down and brainstorm things and really reflect on your own business. So that way, at the end of the class, hopefully you can walk away with some takeaways to implement to, just move your business forward from where you are right now. Sound good? Okay, and right around 2 o'clock, we'll take a 10-minute break so that you can check your messages and yeah, catch up on things, and then we'll finish up. So, okay, let's just dive right in. We are going to talk first, just an overview of what we're going to talk about today. First, I want to share that business planning it's a little bit of a nuanced process. There's not like a one set business planning book that tells you exactly how to do a business plan. You could talk to 10 different people and they could all have different insight on a business planning process. So these are the things that I have found most helpful in coaching real estate agents and in running my own businesses. And that's kind of what I've put together for you today. So we're going to first talk about the golden circle. This can also kind of be looked at as like mission, vision, values, but it's what you do, how you do it, and why. This term is framed from Simon Sinek. He has a great book, Start With Why, that I definitely recommend. So we're going to work on mission statement and values in this section. We're going to do a SWOT analysis. We're going to look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats in your business. We're going to talk about your target market. No business plan is really complete without knowing who our target market is and how we need to communicate and connect with them. We're going to talk about technologies and tools. What technology are you currently using in your business? What would help you further your business along if you implemented? We're going to touch on your professional team, kind of that expanded team of lenders and title companies and, home service providers, inspectors, things like that. We'll look at some financial planning, some goal setting, make an action plan. Can you believe we're going to do all of this in 2 hours? It's kind of mind blowing, right? There's definitely some room to come back to this after the class today. So some of the things we're going to kind of more hit on the surface, but hopefully it's a framework that you can return to again and again. We're going to look at some marketing things, daily habits, tracking, and then next steps. Where do we go from here? My really big priority is that you don't leave today overwhelmed. I want you to leave with 1 or 2 key things that you're going to work on next. Because certainly with every single one of these items, like I could give you a to-do list for the next year, but that's not actually going to get you where you want to go. So, any questions about that? Okay, well, we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start right here with the golden circle. Okay, how many of you have read Simon Sinek's book? Any of you? And you can turn your mic on, like we're going to be chatting. You can also use the chat if you're more comfortable with that. Okay, so in his book, Simon Sinek talks about the golden circle. This is identifying what we do, how we do it, and why. A lot of us get really hung up on the what I do and the how I do it. And we forget to think about why. Because at the end of the day, if we don't know why we're here, and if we're not communicating that to our clients, it has a really good potential of kind of falling apart. So what I want to just have you guys dive right in, get your packet or get paper, and I want you to write what you do first. What do? You sell houses to buyers and sellers. You, work with real estate investors. You oversee real estate contracts, like whatever your what is. Okay. And then I'm going to have you guys sharing throughout this class. So just get warm and cozy here. So yeah, when you've got your what, why don't a few of you share what you do?
I won't be shy.
Yeah.
I'm a realtor and I wear a trillion hats, as I'm sure all of you guys do as well.
100%. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, to tell you everything I do, it would probably take 3 hours.
Yeah, that would be the whole class. But
Right?
yes, I think high level, like you run a real estate business, right?
There you go.
Yep, awesome. Okay, anyone else?
I focus on investors. I do a lot of income properties, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. I work with a lot of first home buyers that are wanting to get into investing, and so that's kind of where my focus is. I'm getting my real estate license to dual in Florida, and looking at breaking into commercial real estate in that market.
Awesome. And Trina, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay, what you do. That's kind of easy, right? At least when I compare all 3 of these, like the what is like, oh yeah, this is what I do, right? You're like elevator pitch. Okay, next question. How do you do it? And how do you do it differently than others? We all know that there are 4 million real estate agents, right? And any number of those real estate agents could have the same what as you, but how do you do it that's different? Is it your customer service? Is it your expertise in, certain aspects? Is it your connections in the industry? How are you doing it that is different?
I'll jump out again.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am solo, so I do everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I meet a lot of other agents that they have teams and they have a lot of people that, you know, wear different hats on their teams, if you will. But with me, I'm kind of like white glove. You are with me from start to finish. I am attached. I work very, very closely with my clients. Not that nobody else does, but I
Sure.
do find that a different model than a lot of people that I know.
Awesome. I love it. So your level of service And
Very high.
very high is how you
High
do,
touch. Yes.
yes, is how you do this real estate business and how you do it well and differently than maybe some other real estate agents. Awesome. Okay, any other hows? Trina, yes.
I do a lot of investing myself.
Mhm.
I think it's nice to be able to share personal experiences. Like, okay, well, when I do a cash flow analysis on an investment property, you're looking at what the rents provide, what the mortgage is, and then how to analyze or how to properly analyze that data to be able to determine if it's a good investment. And then being able to actually, have personal experience in that and owning multiple rentals myself brings a little bit of a different spin to the table.
Awesome. So your experience, your expertise in this area is how you do this at a level that might be different than some others could or would do it. Awesome. Okay, anyone else? How?
I work with a lot of first-time home buyers.
Mhm. Great.
Sorry, I'm not good at Zoom.
You're great. You're doing great.
I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so I feel like nurturing them, I
Mm.
definitely help them along with the process. Sometimes it can take a little longer, but
Yeah,
utilizing that and leveraging that and kind of like marketing off of that really helps kind of keep a fresh buyer pool of referrals and stuff because there are so many people coming into the market for the first time, even now in this crazy economy. So it's a great market to kind of have like a smaller niche in.
that's awesome. So yeah, this level of service, this attention to detail and how you're going to really nurture people through the process. I think that's great. And I think that really, particularly with first-time homebuyers, that is so important, right? Okay, next question. Why do you do what you do? And arguably, this is the most important question of all. Why do you do this? Why do you wear all the hats? Why do you do all the work, the research, the paperwork, all the things? What do you believe about what you do? And what drives you to help people in the way that you help them? What is this why for you? Now, sometimes people will write a why and it will actually be a how or it'll be a what. So as you're writing your why, this is really belief focused, right? The reason I do this is because fill in the blank. I do this because I believe every person deserves the opportunity for homeownership, right? Like I am passionate that if that's your why, you're passionate that everyone could be a homeowner and benefit from that long-term investment. I do this um, the because everyone deserves um, an honest realtor that cares deeply about their experience. So write down a few notes of your why. Because some days it's a little bit hard to show up, right? Some days we're tired, we're burned out, the client's driving us nuts, the title company made a mistake, we just have had it, right? But we need to come back to our why to refocus us to move forward. Trina, thank you so much for having your dog on your lap. It is the thing that matters most to me right now.
Oh,
I love it so much.
She wandered in the room. I figured I'd let her sit on my lap for a
I
bit.
love it. I love it. Okay, anyone willing to share your why?
I know I'm still new, but I got one.
Please, you've still got a why. You're in real estate school. There's something that drove you here.
Um, I love people and connecting with them, and I think that for many people, this is going to be the largest purchase they ever make. And there's kind of a connection you got to make with people in order to make that work. I also used to be in sales. I love negotiation, but I don't like negotiating against people. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
Awesome. So I'm just going to push you just a little bit, Ethan.
Sure.
What is the driver for you? Like if being a solid team player negotiator, if that's maybe one of the ways you're going to achieve this, what is the belief about what your clients deserve in this experience?
Uh, I think I want to be able to kind of treat people like family almost. I used to be
Oh,
in car sales, and you also kind of get to know people
yeah.
because that's typically their second largest purchase
Mhm.
ever.
Especially these days.
Um, yeah, yeah, sometimes first these days, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the time I found myself kind of advocating for them, of course, a lot more. And
Yeah,
I think in real estate that kind of works even better
totally.
now.
So it sounds like the belief might be that everyone deserves an advocate and, an honest, genuine partner in their purchase or sale, something like that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
maybe that's it, or maybe it's not, but give you a little something to think about.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's really, really fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna move to this next page. So we're gonna use this to create a mission statement. So we've got our what, our how, and our why here, and we can combine the three of those together to create a mission statement. One tip that I will give you if this piece, if it, some people are really, really natural with words and like putting words together, and some people it's a little harder to bring all the concepts together. This is a great time to utilize an AI assistant if you're having a hard time getting all the words together. You can go to your AI assistant and say, hey, I'm working on my mission statement for my real estate business. This is what I do. This is how I do it, and this is why. Please give me 3 examples of a mission statement that would encompass that. And so there's just a little tip for you. I definitely utilize my AI assistant frequently. I'm sure many of you today have started doing that as well. So yeah, take a minute and see if you can put these together. I work with first-time homebuyers in their real estate experience. In fact, did I have, okay. I work with first-time home buyers in purchasing their first home through detailed communication and a nurturing experience, um, because everyone deserves the opportunity of home ownership. Okay, so that would be like an example of like an all-encompassing mission statement. So yeah, I'll give you a few minutes to just ponder on that, couple minutes. So while you guys are working on that a little bit or finishing up, I'll share a story with you. So like I said, my husband and I own this event company in the Boise area, and we started this company out of a hobby of my husband's. Isn't that how like so many businesses start? Like, so we own a DJ and photo booth company. So he was always a DJ in high school and college, whatever. So we're like, oh, I wonder if we could like, make money at this. So we start this business, and it was probably like 2011 that we were like, oh, like we need to be more grown up with our business and we should have like an employee handbook because we were just hiring our first employees. And so we called our attorney and who was like an old college friend, and we were like, so do you have an employee handbook we can use? And so he gives us this template and it has this mission, vision, and values in it. And we're like, perfect, look at us. we're so smart, right? Here's your money. And we closed up that employee handbook with our mission, vision, and values, and we put it up on the shelf. And we did not look at it until 2018. So it doesn't do a whole lot of good for us if we're not consistently looking at that, right? Or revisiting it once a year because our business changes and our goals change. And a couple of you have mentioned that you used to be full-time agents and now you mostly do referrals, right? Like things change over time. But what I love about the mission statement, and then we're going to do values as well, is it is a guidepost for you in decision making for your business. When you're, looking at goals, when you're looking at, what clients to work with, when you're looking at specializing in a certain area, you can come back to your mission and your values and identify if those are in line, right? And the values especially were really important guideposts for us in hiring. If we're hiring someone, and for you guys, that could also be a third party vendor like an inspector or what lenders you're referring. Do their values match your values? Are you extending the experience you want to create for your clients through these referrals that you're making? And there are times when we didn't book a client for an event because we knew it wasn't going to be the right match. And we just wanted to save everyone the heartache, right? They were going to be disappointed. We were going to be frustrated. And so you can use this that way as well. Okay, anyone have a little mission statement you'd like to share? It doesn't have to be.
I will.
Okay,
I'll jump out.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Empowering every move, guided by integrity, driven by service and honesty, empowered by collaboration.
Awesome. I love it. So this gives you something to come back to, right? Okay, am I living true to my mission? Is the experience I've created in line? And it just kind of has that accountability piece for you. I love it. Anybody else?
I wrote a very boring one back in 2022.
Wow, awesome.
I actually just pulled it up because I had forgotten about it until you just said this. So I just pulled it up just to see what it says. So I'm going to read my old one, but I don't like it.
That's why we're here. Perfect.
It's dull compared to hers. I wrote, to assist my clients with their Idaho real estate journey and provide them with a great experience that results in client satisfaction, referrals, and a long-lasting relationship.
I think
it's a little bland.
But I think you're really on the right track, and you can even throw that into your AI assistant and see.
There you go.
Spice this up for me. Make it better.
Sounds good.
Oh, awesome. Roy, I thank you for your comment. Bland can still be effective, and it's true. And as long as it speaks to you, right? Your mission statement is something that you can share externally, but you don't need to. This can be something that drives you, right? Like maybe you've got it typed out next to your computer on your laptop, just something that you can reference. Fantastic.
Thanks, Roy.
Yeah, thanks, Roy. Okay, awesome. Let's move on now. We're going to talk about core values. This is a really fun experience that I like to do. So your core values, this dials in more to the how you're going to do what you do. They're the guideposts for you, the things that matter most to you in your actions in your business. So I've got quite a lot of random words here that could have meaning for you. So if you've got the printout, I want you to circle the values that resonate with you. If you do not, you can just write them down on a piece of paper. The top ones, I'm not going to give you a number. I'm going to warn you, I'm going to make you cut it down though. All of you will choose too many, most of you. So for now, just circle all the ones that you're like, yes, curiosity, yes, authenticity, yes, compassion, resilience, like whatever it is, you just circle those. Roy, thank you. I love it. I drew a big circle around the whole page. Yes, you and me both. By not circling a value, it doesn't mean you're against that value. It means it might not be your most important priority. Roy, there is a value here called humor. You should definitely circle that one.
I'll consider it.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Do we need another minute or are we good? Okay, how many? How many did you circle? You can put it in the chat or say it out loud.
3.
Very good. I won't make you cut yours down.
12.
12, okay. This is a good average. 6, great. 5, 22. You and me both, Lisa. You and me both. 9. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. If you have more than 10, usually I'll like tier this down. I'll like make you cross off 5 and then make you cross off 5 more and then make you cross off 5 more. You want to get your list down to 10 or less. So those of you that are under 10, you are good. Those of you that are over 10, it's really hard. You just got to start, take your red pen and just start crossing a few out. You'll notice likely that some that you circled might be similar. Like some of these words kind of are similar to each other. So like integrity and honesty, right? Like those can be very similar. So that might be a way to eliminate. But take a minute and cut this down. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is just get to these few, 3, 5, 10 at the most, values that are the guideposts for your business. Like if integrity is one of your core values, you are not going to find yourself in a situation that is not high integrity. And if you do, you are going to exit that situation, that client relationship. You're going to exit that vendor relationship, whatever it might be. These help you make decisions. So if authenticity is one of your values, that is your commitment that you're going to be authentic with the people in your business, your clients. You're going to be you, right? You're not going to try to fit into a mold that isn't you. And you're going to welcome and invite that with the vendors or clients that you work with. Any questions about this mission or values piece? I like to start with this in our business planning process and in the future when you're going through business planning, for you to come back to this first so that you have a chance to reassess these guideposts and what you're doing here and why you're still showing up. And like I said before, it's hard. Business is hard. In my event company, I had personally a lot of highs and lows, a lot of burnout, a lot of overwhelm. I learned so much. And knowing my why and what I was doing for my clients and why that was important to me, that is what got me through the hard times. And I'm sure that you guys can relate with that too. Okay, any comments or questions before we move on? Okay, open invitation to come back to this in the future. All right. Oh, got a sheet for you to write down your core values. You can also define the core values if you want to express. Again, like your core values, you're not necessarily like posting those on your website or your social media. You can absolutely use them. For example, the Silver Creek brand, our core values are integrity, experience, and commitment. And we also use that as our slogan. So you can definitely incorporate your values and your mission into your marketing and branding, or you can keep them, to yourself and reference them. Okay, next we are going to do a SWOT analysis. How many of you have done a SWOT before? Or are familiar with this? Okay, some of you are raising hands, nodding. Okay, perfect. The SWOT analysis, here's what it looks like. It is a graph, and we are going to go through your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Okay, so strengths first. These are intrinsic. These are things that already exist within you. They're areas that you excel. They might be personal resources that are available to you or qualities you possess that can support your success. So your strengths, right? Ethan, you had mentioned your ability to connect with people, strength, organization, expertise in, market sectors or, whatever it is. So I want you to first write down some strengths, at least 3. And what we're doing here with this SWOT is we are zooming out and we're taking a more 10,000 foot view of your business to identify where do we need some work, where are we thriving, and how can we guide our business planning based on this. All right, next is your weaknesses. So this is also intrinsic. These are the areas where you might fall short a little bit. And guess what? That is okay, because we can't be good at all the things, right? Maybe it's organization, maybe it's paperwork or compliance, maybe it's getting out of your comfort zone and talking to people. What are some weaknesses, areas of improvement? So write down 3 of those, 3 to 5. But if you write down 5 weaknesses, you have to have 5 strengths as well. There's no balancing more weaknesses to strengths.
I have 4 strengths.
So
do I need 4 weaknesses?
nope, you can have
Okay.
you can have less weaknesses. just no putting 10 weaknesses and 2 strengths. That's not fair. Because sometimes we want to be hard on ourselves and we identify all the areas we might be falling short, but we also want to focus on all the areas where we are really strong. All right, got your weaknesses? Next are opportunities. These are extrinsic. These exist outside of you. Opportunities, connections open to you that may not be open to others. And this could be trends or market changes that you can capitalize on. Ideas that you have, right? Strengths that can be turned into opportunities. So these, some examples, maybe your cousin is a land developer or a builder and you have the opportunity to, partner and help. You have opportunities in your specific sector if you specialize like with your target market. Trends, market changes, an opportunity right now is rates are down, right? So this is an opportunity for everyone who's working with buyers. or buyers who have been, waiting for that rate drop. You could have a relocation opportunity. If you're from another state, you've got a whole sphere in that other state that could be a good opportunity, for relocation. All right, you guys got a couple opportunities down. And let's now look at threats. So these are also extrinsic. And these are things that could harm your success. Areas where you have fewer opportunity, or trends or market changes that cause risk. Could also be weaknesses that, if left unchecked, could harm your business.
Would you consider a threat to be something you can control or something that would be the definition, right? A threat would be something you're able to alter.
I would say most of the time a threat is going to be something that you can't control necessarily.
Okay.
But unless it's this weakness situation, right? Where you're like, gosh, a real threat to my success is my own lack of organization, in which case you say, I might need to hire a TC. That might be my business plan item A for 2026.
Kristin, wouldn't the lack of organization be more of a weakness than a threat?
It would, and this is where one of your weaknesses could become a threat if left unchecked. So most of the time, threats, what would fall into the threat category are those extrinsic things that you don't have control over, where your weaknesses, at some level, you have control over those, right? You have control to identify a solution, improve in that area, get help to compensate for an area where you might be falling short. Okay, any insights or surprises as you have put these notes together?
I used the same thing actually as opportunity and as threat.
Do you mind sharing what that is?
Of course. Right now,
Sure. Yeah, I love that.
artificial intelligence.
Oh, that is very insightful. Yes.
So
Could be an
there are
opportunity,
lots
could
of
be a threat.
opportunities to use it to
Yeah,
improve the business. But if I ignore it, then there are lots of opportunities for artificial intelligence for other people to utilize it in ways that hurt my business.
that is so true. I heard this quote that said, artificial intelligence isn't going to take your job. People using artificial intelligence will. And I thought that was really, really powerful. Awesome. Any other surprises or insights?
Um, Looking at these items on my list, it's interesting because these are things that float around in my head, like, oh, I need to work on these things, like my processes and getting my social media like leveraged higher than I use it now. And like I'll get to it and then, time goes by. But looking at them on paper, it really like kind of puts into perspective like the consequences
Mm,
of allowing them to be these things that are floating around and not just like on paper, okay, now I'm gonna go through and check them off. And they seem like kind of overwhelming, like,
mm, yeah,
but also putting them on paper makes them seem a lot more like, okay, these are things that I can check off of, so that's
right.
That feels great.
Awesome. It's that 10,000-foot view, right? Like zooming out, like, okay, I have kind of a better view of what's happening here and what needs to happen. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, so the SWOT analysis we can use as we're working through the next steps of our business planning. Keep these things in mind as you're working through these next sections. All right, next section. Let's talk about your target market. And one thing I'll say about this business planning workbook is I've tried to put it in an order that makes sense as you're going through the business planning process. But in a way, all of these items are kind of standalone. So you don't have to do a SWOT before you do your target market or vice versa. But they're all pieces that help us gather information to set goals and to create next steps for our business. So, okay, let's talk about your target market. So most agents have some kind of target market, some kind of niche market. And, working with a first-time home buyer or investors, we've heard about both of those today. Like, that is where I thrive. Can you have more than one target market? Absolutely. If you primarily work with investors, but one of those investors calls for you to list their personal home, are you going to say no? Probably not, right? You're definitely going to take that listing. So what I want you to focus on here, just for this exercise, is one target market. So think of a niche market that you really enjoy working with. You get through with that transaction and you're like, I could do 50 of those. That was so fulfilling. It really it reaches your why. Now, here is the challenge for you with your target market. I want to encourage you to think about your target market not related to any of the fair housing categories. I want you to think about your target market based on property type or that niche market. So focus more on needs versus on the personal characteristics of the buyer or the seller. So working with investors, working with first-time home buyers, working with people who are downsizing, working with people who are upsizing, they need a larger property. We're not saying anything here about age, about race, about income, familial status, like any of those protected classes. We're removing that. So my target market is not a family of 4 who makes $200,000 a year or more. That is not that we're not going to use that in this exercise. We're going to use the property type. So pick one. You can think of this by property type. You can think of this also by an area, not in a way that's like redlining, right? But in Boise, those of you that live in the Boise area, we've got the Boise Bench. And this is an example of that. When I first got licensed in 2006, there was a realtor and his business was the Boise Bench real estate or Boise Bench realtor, something like that. He had branded himself as a location, area, region specific realtor. And people, when I bring this up in classes, people will be like, oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He had billboards, his signs, he had the street side bus benches, like everything was fully branded. So he knew everything about the Boise Bench, the specifics about property in that area. And he was following for housing because he wasn't saying I'm only working with these types of people. So, okay, so take some notes here. Property type, location, region, and then any property needs or priorities that would fit into that. So these 3 questions are to help you kind of identify like, oh yeah, like what niche would I focus on? And so I don't know your name, JSANC, because it just has like the abbreviation, but you had shared past clients and family. Maybe your target market is referrals. It's all fully referrals, and you're going to base all of your marketing and business decisions around that. And that's great.
So I was just going to share, I keep going back to this one that I did back in 2022. It's very funny how much it's evolved.
Yeah.
And when I started out in real estate in 2019, it was always land, and that is definitely like where my passion is. But land went to new construction. New construction, as I live in the mountains, I'm up near Idaho City. New construction went to people selling their houses from the valley. So I have evolved, and I still love land. I just do, but I don't do a lot of it anymore. And so my new target market has become out of state buyers, more retirees.
Relocation.
So I'm going to focus on that for this particular plan. But it's funny how it's evolved over the past 6 years.
Yeah. And this is why it's really important to take a minute every 6 months or a year and like look through your business planning again.
I agree.
Because it starts to help you make better decisions for your business in present time.
I agree.
Thank you.
I guess I didn't realize that until this class. And looking back at my
old glad you're here. That worked out great. Okay, any other thoughts or questions on this first part of the target market? Okay, the next piece is to ask some questions about this target market to help you make decisions on what you're providing to them and how you're marketing and branding your business. I have a branding and CE class that we talk in more depth about the target market and creating branding and marketing decisions. You can find that on the Fidelity calendar. We'll have our 2026 classes posted up there before too long. But yeah, invite you to join that, another CE class. Okay, so for your target market, what are their goals? This could vary, right? First-time home buyer. Goal may be to purchase a home that is in their budget and allows them to work towards, their generational wealth goals, something like that. It could be find property that has X cap rate or that has a return on investment with whatever measurement. If you're working with an investor, it could be find a home with the needed space. We're not necessarily writing here, find a home that has 3 bedrooms for 3 young children, right? No, they need more space, the space to fit their needs, whatever their needs may be. The next question, what kind of communication style and needs does this target market have? Very different. I like the first-time home buyer and investor comparison because it's a really strong contrast where your first-time home buyer, Desi, you had said like you like to work with first-time home buyers and really like nurture them and walk them through this process and help them understand every step of the way. Trina, if you had one of your investors and you were calling and explaining every single part of the process to them every step of the way, if they're a seasoned investor, if they're a first-time investor, maybe, but most of them are like, please don't. Like, does this fit my criteria or not? Great. Can you find out about zoning and whatever, right? Their communication style is going to be pretty different. And so then we ask, what service do they need from you? Based on their needs and their goals, what kind of service do they need from you? And this is where we might connect back to the golden circle, the what, how, and why. Or you might consider like, oh gosh, I didn't even realize my clients may need me to be more detailed, or maybe the detail I'm going to isn't as necessary. And then a good question to ask, particularly when you're making marketing decisions, is where are they spending time? Are they spending time online? Are they on social media? Back to communication style, are they going to want communication through the phone calls, text message, email, in person? You might be working with people who are downsizing, retiring, maybe moving into like an assisted care situation, and they might need to do everything in person, right? They might not have access to computers, internet. So take a few minutes and make a few notes there. All right. Maybe one more minute. I know you guys, a couple of you are still writing, and yeah, I don't want to cut you off too short. All right. Okay, any questions about target market or anything on your mind here? Okay, awesome. Let's transition a little bit. So your target market, mission, vision, mission, values, golden circle, the SWOT analysis, those are all like bigger picture business things. Okay. We're looking kind of like that 10,000 foot view. All right, where are we at? What are my guiding principles? What's going to help me, craft this business? We're going to transition now and talk a little bit more about tacticals, the daily things in your business. And we want to keep in mind our golden circle. We also want to keep in mind our SWOT analysis as we start first by talking about technology and tools. So there is no shortage of technology options for real estate agents. It can be a little bit overwhelming. The first thing that I want you to do in this exercise is I want you to look through this list of technology and tools, and I apologize that it is 2 pages long, but you all know it's the reality. And I want you to put a star if you are already using this item. That's all I want you to do right now. And just like a little preview, I'm not going to ask you to use all of these things because it's not realistic for almost all agents. But right now, just put a star. CRM website, are you using one? Are you using anything to help you manage your social media? Any calendar technology, even if it's a Google Calendar. Are you using a program for transaction management, lead generation, email marketing, creating CMAs, client communication? You can even put on client communication, Gmail or text message, right? This all fits into technology. Marketing material creation or distribution. Oh, wrong way. Managing reviews, task management, safety, open house and showing management, data and statistics, digital marketing and ad management, expense tracking, mileage tracking. And then there's a few bonus options if you're using anything else. Okay, so stars, how'd you do? How many are you using currently? This is not a contest.
1.
Great. Anyone else?
I have 4.
4. Awesome. And every agent is so different on your aptitude with technology, your preferences with technology. And I don't personally, based on my experience coaching agents, I don't think that all the technology options are the right fit for all agents. And so what I want you to do though, is I want you to pick 1 to 2 based on your SWOT analysis, based on your target market, based on where you can already see some of the things that might be happening in your business in the next 12 months. I want you to pick 1 to 2 that would be your next ones to implement in your business.
Additional ones, right?
Additional. But Trina, you might be in a place in your business where you're like, I'm good, right? But if there's 1 or 2 that you're like, yeah, I think if I was using a better system to manage my transactions and my to-dos and whatever, I think that I would be overcoming one of my weaknesses. Or I think I can build on my strength of social media by using some additional social media technology. So consider that. For those that don't have the handout, I'll go back to page 2 so you can see the other ones we've got on here. There is a safety tool available. I think I mentioned this in almost every class. I'm going to step out of my CE role for just 2 seconds and just share, if you guys have not checked out the Tether RE app yet, it is a revolutionary safety app. It was built in Twin Falls, Idaho, has national recognition from NAR, and it might just save your life. So anyway, if you're looking for something for safety, I'd recommend checking that out.
What's it called?
Tether RE. And I think it's tetherre.com. It's awesome.
Is that the tool where you can look up clients?
Yep, it has reverse lookup, so you can look up a phone number and see who the carrier is or other information. It has panic alarms. It has showing tracking. It can also help you set up your showings like in an order. GPS tracking. It connects directly to dispatch. Anyway,
Wow.
it's pretty dang cool. It's about $10 a month. I did have the I pocket hit the panic alarm at Costco one day. And my mom and my best friend were both immediately, they got messaged. And then I realized my husband wasn't set up because he was with me and he's like, why didn't I get the text? And I'm like, I don't know.
So it was a good test.
It was a good test. It works. So,
Cool.
Chris, I don't know the details on how it compares to Forewarn. I know it has some Forewarn similar capabilities. I think it has some additional features too, but definitely worth checking out. So, okay. Any questions, technology tools? Did you get one or two that you're like, yeah, it's probably time for me to work on that? Or maybe you just like put a big X through this page. Any thoughts or feedback? Anyone want to share what they're implementing next?
It's great to have a list like this to see how many things I walk by every day and not do, like on this list. So
Sure.
great. Thanks.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Awesome. Okay, we're going to do one more quick section and then we are going to take our break. So our next section is your professional team. So being a real estate agent, you are a business owner, right? This is your business. You're making decisions for your business and marketing and services that you offer and all kinds of things. The extension of you is your professional team. These are the people that you might be referring to clients, the people who are advising you on your business. And having a strong professional team can just make such a difference. So I want you to take a minute, and you don't need to write down all of the people right now. I would encourage you to take some time. Like if you're, referring home inspectors, you've got your 2 or 3 that you refer, write them down. But right now, I just want you to go through the list and identify, put a star next to the ones that you've got someone, and maybe circle the ones that you're like, yeah, I might benefit from an accountability partner, right? Who's keeping me accountable to my goals here? Do you need someone in all of these categories? No, you don't. But these are some really helpful ones. Accountability partner, business coach or mentor, CPA. One that's not on here that could be added is your brokerage. Certainly your brokerage and your broker is part of your professional team. CPA, attorney, transaction coordinator, lender, home inspector, photographer, handyman, title company, escrow officer. Can you see, like, we work with so many people and so many partners are required to get a transaction from start to finish successfully and also to support you in your business. Appraiser, stager, moving company, home warranty company, lawn care, plumber, electrician, HVAC, property management, pest control, insurance agent, financial planner. This list could potentially grow as well. But it's nice to have these people in your back pocket when you need them. And the question I would challenge you to ask is, do the people that you're referring and working with, do they match your mission and your values? If they don't, it is time to find someone new, because there will be a disconnect there that could cause you frustration, that could lead to mistakes or misunderstandings, that could cause issues for your client, complications in your business. So that is the requirement here, is that whoever you're working with matches your business. Someone that you trust. And then the next part is, how are you nurturing these relationships? You know, in some ways, like if you owned a company and you had to hire all of these people, they they could be considered, in that case, your employees, right? They're not your employees in this case, they're partners, but they are so critical to your success. So how are you nurturing them and expressing gratitude to them for how they serve your clients, how they run their business? And for a lot of these, there's also opportunity for cross referrals. You're referring them. Yes, they know other realtors. Everyone knows other realtors, right? But that relationship could mean the referral for you. All right, any questions about this professional team? Besides Ethan, anyone have some work to do? Ethan, we know you have a lot of work to do just starting out.
Is there a sheet somewhere? Does it exist that has a bunch of choices of some of these? Like, uh, usually I call Jamie Patochka and ask her who she knows, but
Yeah,
is there like just get her list? But
yeah, right.
is there?
I don't
I
know.
mean, I know a lot of lenders.
I know
There's like
that.
attorneys. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Who
so
are
many.
you with, Kevin?
Amherst Madison.
Do you guys have like a forum or a group chat or something like that?
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so I was just say
great.
like with Boise Premier, we learn a lot from each other. We just go out on our Facebook group and someone will say,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you have a good photographer? Hey, do you have a good electrician?" And
Yeah, I do that, but I just wondered if there was a sheet of like somebody should develop a list of like here's all these people you could choose from one or add one to it or something. I don't know.
Definitely worth asking. Some brokerages hold a list. Some have just an authentic list. Some have a paid sponsor list where the vendor like pays $100 a year to like be included on the list. And then some don't manage a list at all, but rely on the agent network. So yeah, but I
hey,
don't
you
know.
just
Like
brought
this.
up a really good business opportunity.
Yep, there you go. Who's ready? It's all
I'm gonna
yours.
put that
I'm
one
not
down.
starting it.
Yeah.
You're gonna steal my idea then? Is that what you're doing?
I mean, if you're looking for a new business, there it is.
Kind of like an Angie's List for realtors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or other comments here before we take a break? All right, let's take a 10-minute break. We are going to come back at 2:16 and yeah, dive back into the second half. See you guys soon. All right, about 1 more minute for those of you that are wrapping up the break. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Looks like we have most of us here. Cameras on. Thank you. So yes, just a reminder for those in the live class, cameras need to be on. And yeah, we'll get moving forward. Okay, so we just talked about our professional team and how critical and important that can be. We're going to do a quick brief on financial planning, everyone's very favorite part of business planning. So this is that time of year, right? It is late October, which means errors and emissions insurance just billed. Most associations are about to bill, not all throughout the state of Idaho, but most. And it's the holidays. So this gets to be a tricky time for agents. So just want to always reinforce the importance of planning ahead for your business, especially in real estate where your dues have to be paid all at once. Although I will say that some realtor associations have payment plans for your association dues. So if that's a need for you, contact your local association. So a couple of things that you might want to consider when you're doing your financial planning is first, if you're paying any monthly brokerage dues, these are just rough amounts, can vary by brokerage, association, and MLS. Your association dues, these are your annual dues. And when you pay this, it covers your local, state, and national dues. Your MLS dues, which are separate from the association. You've got your Supra e-key fees, or if you use a different kind of e-key lockbox situation in your MLS. You've got your E&O insurance. Price may vary based on your policy. And then you've got your license renewal. Oh my gosh, good news. It's actually $135 now. We just saved some money on our financial planning. They just lowered that this year. So these are like non-negotiables, right? Like you're gonna have to pay these dues in order to maintain a real estate license. And this is really easy to take in like March, April, May, June, like, when you're not paying all of the dues all at once. So it's just always a good idea to plan ahead. And then you need to create your own budget for yourself on client gifts, education, marketing, and any other expenses that you have with your real estate business. Any questions on this? True. So if you're a referral only agent, which I know I've got a couple on the call today, your fees may be different. You may not have association dues, which is kind of a helpful thing. So I created just a one-page budget planner for you guys. I'm not going to take the time today to go through all of that with you and do your budget with you because I want to focus time more on goal setting. But you can use this to create that plan for yourself. And then it's great to come up with your average monthly cost and make sure that you're putting that aside, in your closings or, once a year, however you want to do it. And then it's always prudent to save money for your taxes and your ongoing expenses. You need to decide ultimately how much from your closings you're wanting to put away into savings for taxes, and a conversation with a CPA is a really great place to start for that. Are there some areas where you're spending that you're not providing, it's not providing the ROI that you need? For example, you may be paying for a website or CRM program, and you may be able to get something similar through your brokerage for substantially lower. For example, I had an agent last year. She was paying $600 a month for her website CRM. At the brokerage, we offered the same product, but it was 90% off, same product. And so, in a minute, she saved $540 a month. So take a look at your own expenses and see if there's any areas to reevaluate. Do you have an emergency savings for your business? Just like with our personal lives, it's nice to have a little tucked away just in case something happened. The 3 years, right, the market has been pretty volatile with rates, and we don't always know what to expect. We know that when rates drop, people are going to buy houses, but we don't always know when that's going to happen. So keep that in mind. And then if you have more questions about your financial planning, a CPA or a financial planner can assist. All right. I have included here how to calculate a transaction goal. So a lot of times, we may ask an agent, oh yeah, like what's your goal for number of transactions you want to close this year? Oh, I don't know, 30? Okay, amazing. That sounds like an awesome, really strong year, particularly in the Treasure Valley. That is, it can be a little tough to close 30 transactions because of how many agents there are. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. But then I asked the question, well, where'd you get that number? Well, I don't know. It's just like what I thought. Okay, amazing. So I'm not going to do the math with you today. Again, just conserving some time in the class for goal setting. But this walks you through step by step how to figure out how many transactions you need based on average commissions in your area, based on the take home that you want to have and how much you need to be saving for taxes. So this walks you through it. It even has an example of exactly how to figure that out. So in this calculation, the desired annual take home was 75,000. High expenses. I don't think most agents are going to spend 20 grand on their business expenses, and then their tax rate was 25%. So that totaled 14 transactions for the year. So this can help you kind of dial that in. Any questions on this one? Okay, you guys can go through that anytime. Okay, we are going to talk about some goal setting and some strategies for goal setting to help you be successful. How many of you are familiar with SMART goals? I know this SMART goals like bounces around a lot. SMART goals, it's a framework that you can use to set achievable goals. So every letter in the acronym means something. So S means specific. So whatever goal you're going to set for yourself, 14 transactions, it should be clear and specific and answer who, what, where, when, why type of questions. This helps to focus efforts and define what's expected of you. The next, it should be measurable. There should be some criteria for measuring if you've achieved the goal or not, right? So close transactions, pretty vague, right? Okay, well, so if we close one, did we achieve the goal? But if I say 14 transactions, that is measurable. I know exactly when I have achieved that goal. The next, A, achievable. The goal should be realistic for you. It should be attainable. So, Ethan, I'm sorry to pick on you so much, but you're just here. So, and your situation helps. Ethan's brand new. Would you guys say it would be an achievable goal for Ethan to say he wants to close 100 transactions his first year in real estate? Not achievable, like very unlikely.
Go get him, Ethan.
What was
I'll
that?
see you guys in a year. We'll
Go
compare.
get him, Ethan.
we believe in you. You got this. 100 transactions. Let's
You
go.
got this.
He's got a good enough smile.
He does. Yes, we believe in you. And maybe for Ethan, because of opportunities he has, that would be achievable. But there's factors to consider here. Okay, it should be relevant. So it should matter, right? Like it should align with your bigger objectives for your business. Needs to be meaningful to you in some way. Like, why do you want that to be your goal? Because I have this student loan debt I'm paying off, and this will help me achieve, that, fulfill that. It matters to me. And then lastly, the T, it should be time bound. So the goal should have a deadline. I want to close 14 transactions is different than I want to close 14 transactions by December 31st, right? We've got a deadline on that. It creates that sense of urgency and helps us prioritize. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to write down one SMART goal. And let's make this, we're going to use this in our next step. So I want this to be a little bit of a bigger SMART goal. So it could be transaction-based, it can be income-based, it can be impact-based. Try not to have this SMART goal be something like post on social media once a week. Like that's a very tactical, specific goal. So think a little bigger. All right, everyone have a goal in mind? I'm also giving you permission to change your goal in the future. If you find out it's not going to work for you, or your priorities changed, or life happened. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a framework to create an action plan for that goal. And this is a really common framework that's used in real estate circles. I'm seeing it at multiple brokerages, business coaches use it. It's the 1-3-5 model. I really like this because it takes a big goal and it breaks it down so it's more achievable, so that you've got some clear steps to take. It's one thing to say, you know, I want to close 14 transactions by the end of December. But then sometimes we just like write a goal up on the wall and we just keep looking at it, but we don't actually have steps in place to make that goal happen. And that's why I like this framework. It takes one big goal. It creates 3 focus areas that if those 3, focus areas are completed, that goal is achievable. And then from the focus areas, we determine 5 strategies for each of those focus areas to help us get that done. So here is an example, and you guys should all have a blank 1-3-5 model sheet in the packet. Should be, yes, kind of after my example, that you can use. So we're going to go through the example, then I'm going to give you a minute to work on your personal one. If you want to take notes as we go, if some of this resonates with your goal, feel free to take it and use it. But okay, big goal. I would like to close 12 transactions this year. Okay, so does this feel like a SMART goal? Yes, it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and time bound. Great. So what I need to do next is say, okay, so if I want to close 12 transactions this year, what 3 things have to happen? What 3 areas do I need to focus on to make sure that that happens? Okay, so here's an example. I need to utilize and build my CRM and my sphere of influence. So I ask myself, okay, if I utilize and build my CRM and I'm like leveraging my sphere of influence, is that going to get me 12 transactions a year? Probably, with other factors. Okay, area 2, I need to execute a social media plan. I'm falling behind in social media. I have not leveraged this as a tool to market my business. But if I add social media into my marketing, that is going to get me to 12 transactions a year. And then secure 18 buyer and seller agreements. Okay, so real estate agents, all of you, do you believe if I was running my real estate business, if I effectively utilized and built a CRM, staying in touch with my sphere, if I executed a solid social media plan, and if I secured 18 buyer and seller agreements, do you think I would close 12 deals?
Yes.
It's pretty likely that if I do these things effectively, I will close those 12 transactions. But what if I only close 11?
That's still great.
Just joking, not failure. It's absolutely right. It could have been 5, right? But if you close 12, if you close 12, your 12 could actually be 15 or 18. It could be 20, right? If you're really staying effective and focused. Okay, so the next thing we need to do. Great, if my focus area is to utilize and build my CRM, what 5 strategies do I need to implement? These are the tactical, the dailies. What do I need to be doing now in order to say, yes, I effectively utilized and built my CRM? Okay, so here's an example. 5 strategies to achieve the focus area. Input all my past clients, leads, and sphere contacts into the CRM, ensuring data is clean and up to date. 2, segment contacts into categories and assign follow-up plans. 3, schedule and execute weekly follow-ups with at least 10 contacts. 4, offer value-driven touch points such as market updates, helpful articles, or home anniversary reminders. And 5, organize one client event to strengthen relationships and grow your network. So If I came to you and said, hey, I need to determine, did I leverage my CRM? Did I utilize it and build it this year? These are the 5 things I did. Would you say, yeah, you definitely built and leveraged your CRM? Or would you say, this is pretty
No.
good? If an agent came to me and said, Kristin, these are the 5 things I've done, I would say, wow, that's amazing. Keep doing that, stay consistent. But it's pretty much been covered. Okay, next. Execute a social media plan. Great. What 5 things do I need to do now? Tacticals, day, week, month, consistent. 1, create and post 3 to 4 pieces of content weekly. 2, use Instagram and Facebook stories to showcase behind the scenes moments. 3, launch a paid ad campaign targeting your farm area or niche audience once per quarter. 4, schedule monthly content planning days to batch create and schedule social media posts. And 5, use analytics to review engagement and optimize posts for reach and effectiveness every quarter. If I did those 5 things, how did I do on my social media plan?
Good.
Pretty darn good. I'd be happy with it. What if I only posted 2 to 3 pieces of content weekly? Still a success.
You're fine.
Still a success.
It's consistent, right?
Yep. It's all about consistency.
Yep.
All right, and the last one, secure 18 buyer or seller rep agreements. 5 strategies. 1, host 2 open houses per month to meet potential buyers and showcase expertise. 2, actively prospect FSBO and expired listings, aiming to contact 10 per week. 3, develop a buyer seller presentation package to present value clearly during consultations. 4, set a weekly goal to connect with 10 leads from online inquiries, referrals, or past clients. And 5, partner with local businesses to co-host workshops or events to generate leads. Again, if you do these things, you're well on your way. Can you control getting 18 of these signed? No, you don't hold the pen, but you're certainly putting in the reps to meet that goal. So if I come back here, oops. If I use those 5 strategies from each of my focus areas, what that does for me is it creates my to-do list. It creates my weekly schedule. It helps me stay focused on 10 transaction closings this year. Versus if I put a note on my computer that says close 12 transactions this year, but I don't have steps to back it up. Thoughts or questions on this strategy, this method? Another great use of your AI assistant is to say, hey, AI assistant, this is my goal. These are my 3 focus areas. Speak to me like a real estate expert and tell me what 5 strategies I need for each of my focus areas to achieve this goal. In full disclosure, that's exactly where this came from. So you can use your AI assistant to really help focus your intentions and your activities. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to take a minute and I want you to play around with this. I want you to write your big goal, and then I want you to write 3 focus areas, and then start working on your five strategies. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to work on this one. I know this is a little bit more in depth and you might not get it completely ironed out today, but if you walk away with, like, if you're middle of November and you're like, all right, I'm done with my business planning, and you can print off your 1, 3, 5 and stick that on the wall, you're really setting yourself up for success. And if any of you have similar focus areas and you want me to go back to give you some ideas on strategies, let me know. Or if you're stuck, if you're like, okay, I have my 3 focus areas, I don't know what 5 things. Let's talk about it. We've got a team of 15 real estate agents on this call. And yeah, love to support each other. This is also a model that you can use in your personal life. I know I've got a couple agents, maybe you're not trying to sell 12 deals a year, right? You can use this in other ways too. Does anybody want to brainstorm ideas?
So I was just going to say, I do a lot of this already. So I'm trying to come up with ideas of how I can improve my current process. So like, for instance, social media, for one of the areas to improve upon, I guess, or achieve focus areas.
Yeah.
I've added, rather than just posts, I mean, adding more value to my posts, maybe more interesting information, on, places to go, places to see, things, just more value rather than, hey, look at me, I sold a house.
Right.
Trying to improve that. And also, one of my weaknesses, I hate doing videos. I don't mind videoing other things, but I don't like having me in the video.
Yeah.
That's an area I want to tap into more because I think that's effective.
Yes, definitely.
So just
Lisa, another thing you may consider is what about your engagement on other people's posts, specifically your sphere, people that you're working with, like commenting,
yes,
shouting out their businesses and things like that.
Yes, that's huge.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share or brainstorm? I know that this activity in and of itself is not a 5-minute activity. And it may take, a little bit of time for you to consider, gosh, yeah, what do I want my big goal to be? And how do I like dial this down into the tacticals to achieve it? At any time, I am always happy to jump on a call with any of you. Doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. One of my whys is to uplift the industry as a whole. And so if you're stuck, I'd love to chat and just be a sounding board for you anytime.
Sorry, just figured out how to unmute on my phone.
Yeah, great.
One thing I wanted to throw out there, a class I took recently, was talking about doing that engagement on like Facebook and Instagram. And one of the things that they mentioned was not to comment on other realtors as much, because what happens is you wind up at the top of their feed. but maybe comment on your sphere and your friends more so, because then you'll wind up for whatever the algorithm is for so many days at the top of their feed. And so I didn't know that before, and I was just commenting on everybody. And one of the other things they suggested was also take 10 minutes a day and just go through your feed and comment on people and like things. So that was it.
Such great advice. A little social media aside, we are training the algorithm by the actions we take. So whoever you're commenting, liking, spending time, clicking links, any of those, you're telling the algorithm that is who you want to see and that's the type of content you want to see. And so yes, use your algorithm training wisely. There's definitely value to having other realtor friends on social media and those connections. And you may just want to consider what am I feeding the most in the algorithm? Thank you so much for bringing that up. Okay, well, you guys take some time to circle back on this. I definitely, at the end of the class, I'm going to ask you to get out your calendar and set yourself a time to finish up your business planning. And that would be a good time to really dial this 135 in for yourself. Okay. Danielle, thanks for the comment. We're glad that you're here, even if you've been quiet in the background. Except for Roy doesn't agree. Just kidding. Okay, let's talk a little bit about marketing and prospecting. Marketing can be the most fun part of real estate. It can also be the most stressful. And this is a really great model for helping you identify your strengths in marketing and prospecting and leaning into those. So this is adapted from Rick Gray. He is a real estate business coach. I've seen similar models elsewhere, but I really like this. And so what we're looking at here is the top two quadrants are direct contact with people. Bottom two quadrants, indirect contact with people. I like talking to people. I don't like talking to people. How's that? On the left are cold leads, people that you don't know, that don't know you from the next guy down the street. On the right-hand side are the hot leads, the people who know you, they trust you, they know your name, they recognize you, okay? So the question is, where do you fall? I would say most agents are primary in one and secondary in another. Top left, you want direct contact with cold leads. These are prospectors. These are calling on online leads, FSBOs, expireds, canceled, withdrawns, Zillow, Realtor.com, you name it, okay? You've got your dialer, right? And you're just calls, rejection, and you handle it so well, and it's a numbers game, and you know how to work it. Okay, down below that, the converter, indirect contact with cold leads. So I don't want to talk to people I know. And actually, I don't even want to talk to them. I want them to come to me through email drip, advertising, direct mail, Google ads, social media ads, property boost in a CRM, something like that. That is your converter. All right, top right. I want direct contact with hot leads. So this is your networker. You're meeting people through hobby groups. You're holding open houses. You're hosting client events. You're taking people to lunch and coffee dates. You're going to networking groups. You're doing pop buys. You're having parties. Like, you are connecting with people who know you, who recognize you in a very direct way. And then right side bottom is your marketer, indirect contact with hot leads. So you want to talk to people you know, but you don't really want to call them or see them face to face, but you can help it. You're sending postcards in the mail. You're sending note cards, direct mail, brochures, email newsletters, text message check-ins, emails, social media, posting on social media, direct messaging, commenting on things. Okay, so tell me, where do you fall? What's your primary? You can say it out loud or put it in the chat.
Top left.
Prospector. Kevin, you are one of the rare. What I hear agents say a lot is, I need to join a team because I need some leads. And then when they get on a team that provides leads, they realize that they're internet leads that they're going to have to call on and call on and call on. And some agents just have the skill. So that's you, Kevin. Awesome. Okay, I've got Jamie's a networker. Who else? Lisa, marketer.
I'm a networker also.
Networker. I would say probably 80% of agents are networker marketers. Yeah, lots of networkers. Awesome. So this is permission for you to focus on your strengths. Because as a real estate agent, you wear so many hats, you can't be good at all 4 of these. I mean, unless you're working 80 hours a week and this is like what you do. And you are a unicorn in that way. It's very rare. Focus on the 1 or 2 categories that are fulfilling for you, that you have skills in, and continue to build your skills and your consistency in that area. What I have, any other questions or thoughts on this? You can be successful any way that you're marketing and prospecting your business if you're doing it right and fully and staying consistent. So you can build your entire business off of open houses or off of Zillow calls or off of email or whatever it is you choose. Okay, so what I've included next is just a list of ideas for you. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you have this for reference based on, you know, how you classified yourself, prospector. Here is a list of ideas to prospect and market. So as you're looking at your 135 strategy, you can work some of this in your prospecting and marketing. So I've got prospector, converter, marketer, and networker. So if you're looking for ways to change it up, connect with more people, put some more people into your pipeline in your sphere, here it is. Okay. Any questions before we move on? We've covered a lot of ground today. Remember at the beginning when I was like, we're going to cover these 400 things. And we were like, in 2 hours? You made it almost. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about time blocking and habits. This is all great. All of this stuff we've talked about, the 135, like this is all great. Anyone can sit down and write down all the things that we should be doing. Oh, I can tell you all the things that I should be doing every day. That does not mean that that is what's happening. It doesn't mean that I have the systems in place to keep me accountable to that. And that's what we see a lot, right? With our personal habits or our work habits, we're really, really good for a couple weeks, and then we get sick and it derails everything, or we go out of town, or we're frustrated, or we had a setback in the business and we're like, ugh, right? And we throw in the towel. And it's really critical to have systems in place so that we can get back up and get back into it. One strategy for that is time blocking. Time blocking does not work for everybody, but it does work for a lot of people. So time blocking is where you set aside blocks of time that are non-negotiable. So I could say from 8 to 10 a.m., it is non-negotiable. I am working on my CRM and lead follow-up at that time. You do not schedule doctor's appointments during that time. You, caveat, try not to schedule showings during that time, which usually 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Most showings don't happen during that window, but you are creating boundaries for yourself to stay accountable to your business. Because what we see happen, right? We market, get all these people in our pipeline, we get a client under contract, and then we focus on that client, but we forgot to keep doing all the marketing and the prospecting. So then we finish up with that client and then we're like, where's my next client? And what we want to do is create a system in which you're continuing with your daily, weekly habits to build your pipeline so that you're not on the real estate roller coaster. Like, oh no, I was so focused on that sale, or I had 3 going at the same time, I forgot that I needed to be building my pipeline for 6 months from now. And then you have a dry spell, and those are tough. Those are really tough. So you can look at this as blocks. It could be 2-hour time frame, 3, 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever it is, however detailed you want to get down into it. Here's an example that my AI assistant put together for me. This is what you could be doing during blocks. 9 to 9:30 is my market research block. I am looking at new listings on the MLS. I am watching market trends, interest rates, like all the things, inventory, all the things. 9:30 to 10:30 is lead follow-up. I'm reaching out to potential leads, following up, sending emails, texts, phone calls, all the things. 10 to 10:30, networking and social media engagement. From 10 to 10:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am on social media. I am not lollygagging around on social media, scrolling. I am intentionally engaging and posting. 10:30 to 11, I'm educating myself, whether that's CE or a webinar or an article or a podcast or something to keep me on top of my game. 11 to 11:30, I'm doing all my administrative tasks. I'm updating my CRM with new contacts. I'm looking at my task reminders for the day, responding to emails. 12 to 12:30, I'm taking myself a 30-minute break. And then 12:30 to 3:30 is set aside for client meetings, property showings, etc. So this is just one example of how you could time block out your day. It's important for most real estate agents to have a schedule, but build in the other parts of your life as well, because so many real estate agents are real estate agents because they're raising kids, they're caring for a parent, they have another full-time job, right? Like there's a lot of nuance in your availability. And so build your commitments around that. Both ways, build your real estate commitments over your around your life commitments and your life commitments around your real estate. Any questions or thoughts on this? Have any of you time blocked and been successful with that?
I find it hard to. I find it hard to be available to my clients if I time block to this extent, because a lot of my clients might be morning, or you know what I mean. They're kind of all over. Some of them are at night. Some of them are, yeah, they're all over the board. Especially if they're coming in from out of state, or you know what I mean.
It can be really challenging, and this might not be the best system in that case. Another system that I've seen, I don't have it in here, but it's based on your to-do list, which I'm a to-do list driven person. Time blocking is not my preferred style. I can sometimes time block one thing, like I'll do calls at this time, and that is a 30-minute block, and that's what I can commit to, and the rest I need to be a little fluid. But the to-do list, one method I had seen is, you have your to-do list, and I like to have like 800 things on my to-do list, so it's not in my brain, but then it's identifying the 3 things that you're focusing on today and like setting aside the rest. So it's just like a system for prioritizing.
Yes.
So finding a system that works for you is really important. A side story. So I, work full-time at Silver Creek, it's my full-time job. And a couple of years ago, I was like, gosh, why am I not selling real estate? Like, I think I could be pretty good at that. And then the next thing that came out of my mouth, well, in my brain, because I was talking to myself, was, oh my gosh. And then I would have more time to take care of the house and like the errands and all of these things. And then self said to self, I don't think that you're prepared to be a real estate agent right now. And it was just like, that was my own awareness. Like, oh, if I'm like thinking I should go sell real estate so that I can be home more and work on life, I'm not actually going to be selling a lot of real estate. And so just think about your own demands and your own priorities and what you need at this time, and set up a system that works for you. Okay. And then the last little bit here is just a reminder to track and evaluate your progress. This is definitely the thing that like falls by the wayside. There's a couple systems in here. This is like a weekly activity tracker. And sorry, it's sideways, but if you've got it printed out, you can turn it. But it's setting a weekly goal of how many contacts you're going to have, and then just making tally marks as you go, and then with reminders to add things to your CRM. So that's one system that you can use. But even if it's just, my goals for the day, the calls I'm going to make today, like something to keep yourself accountable. And so you can look back and see, what's working and what's not working, so you can reevaluate and shift. Okay, any thoughts or questions on this? All right, so we have talked about a whole lot of things today. I am going to go back to the very beginning to our little breakdown. Oh my goodness, 30 pages later. Okay, so these are the different sections that we covered today. It's a lot of information and it's a lot of thinking and planning. And what I want you to do right now is I want you to pick 1 or 2 things that are next. So of all the things that we talked about today, what are the 1 or 2 things that you're like, all right, I got to get my 135 done? Or is it's time for me to pick a CRM? Or is it, I need to set up my budget? Or I need to reevaluate my marketing based on understanding my prospecting style. So write down 1 or 2 things only. And then I want you to share this in the chat or out loud, because this is the accountability piece, right? Like you're going to speak it out loud or write it, type it, makes it more real. Lisa, thank you. Updating my business plan from 2022 and making it current and implementing some ideas from today. Great. Budget.
I'm going to learn AI.
Learn AI. Yes, awesome. All right, who else? Roy's ready for dinner. Got a couple hours. CRM. Krista, yes. It is such a valuable tool.
I'm going to work on my daily planning, and like I've tried to give myself a goal like 3 times a week. I'm going to try to post on Instagram and Facebook, and then so kind of using technology and then building it into a daily activity, or at least a time managed activity.
Awesome. Fantastic. I love it. Make the calls, social media videos. Yeah, Simone, I don't like being on the phone. I will, and I can handle it, right? But if I have calls to do, I have to do it first. Like eat the frog, right? Like do the hard thing first. So if you've got something that you're resisting, that would be my challenge to you, is just get it done first. And then the rest of your day's easy. Work on pre-scheduled social media posts, increasing social platform. Great, love it. Roy, almost done with your 135. Fantastic. All right, anyone else?
Yeah, for me, so I also just moved here to Idaho, I mean.
Awesome.
So networking and building up a network is a high priority.
Yes. Ethan, I'm going to send you a different class as well. I teach at CE too, but it's leveraging your sphere of influence and building your sphere of influence and follow-up plans. So if you're interested, I can send that to you too.
No, absolutely, please. I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, I
Happy
looked
to.
up your classes, so I'm definitely gonna see you again too.
Awesome. Great. Love to have you. Danielle, time block, set coffee dates. Awesome. Great. You guys, thank you. I hope that you all had some valuable takeaways today. I definitely don't want you to leave overwhelmed, and I think that's a risk in a class of this nature. So focus on your 1 to 2 things. And then, like I said, I want all of you to pull out your phone, and I want you to put a time on your calendar when you're going to come back to your business plan and finish that. And I would say that needs to be before December 1st. So put a time on your calendar, finalize business plan for 2026. Roy, November 30th. Perfect. 8 p.m. Noted. Awesome. It's been really great to have all of you. Thank you so much for your participation and your interaction. I'll follow up with an email. It'll include a link to the recording of this class and also the business planning workbook. If you guys need anything or have questions, it'll have all my contact info too. So reach out to me anytime. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.